Very wise, little ones. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Murgo's Beard.
Hello there. If you're listening to my voice right now, it means one of three things. 1. You stumbled upon this video by pure chance. 2. You've been eagerly awaiting my content, and you clicked this hoping for a full direct breakdown. 3. You've been directed here by the actual breakdown, and you're ready to join me in some tantalizing counting. Whichever the case, I sincerely apologize in advance. This is not a standalone video, nor is it a sequel, prequel, or spin-off. It's a living part of my true breakdown, forcefully torn out and turned into its own entity, for well, in the words of General Manager Ralph Fulton, development reasons. An intraquel, if you will. This video will be focused entirely on the living population. I'll be going through all scenes of the direct which feature the living population in an attempt to identify and tally up each individual to see just how true these words really are.
There are more than 1,000 of them, and every single one is unique. Each of them has a name, a role, a daily routine, and their own personality.
My previous videos, although not required, are certainly helpful, so if you haven't already, go watch those first. Anyhow, you're here now, so be sure to pay the modest price of 1 like, and without further ado...
Let's do it.
More than 1,000, you say? Let's have ourselves a little count, shall we? Recycled NPCs 1 and 4 are back, dealing with Dave again. Granted, they've had slight style updates, and since we've been told that...
And every single one is unique.
I'll be retiring the term recycled NPC and replacing it with recurring NPC. Bear in mind, all NPCs are recurring NPCs unless I state otherwise. And my goodness, if you're a fan of Deja Vu, you're in for a treat. Strap in, folks, it's about to get bumpy. In roughly order of appearance, our first recurring NPC of the district is Yellow Gran. Now, the first time an NPC appears, I'll paste all of their views on screen like this. For recurring appearances, I'll simply use the name tag. Moving behind this tree here, we spot Blue Hat Thin, and then he's immediately followed by Budget Aladdin. As we move on, emerging from behind our head is Mr. Green Shirt. Blink and you'll miss it, but squeezed between Yellow Gran and Budget Aladdin is our next NPC, your average ale enjoyer. And then slipping between our child character and Mr. Green Shirt is our first named NPC and possible village crier, Jasmine the Charitable Commoner. Up in the Rose and Thorn, we've got Crop Jacket, and sat beside him, practically camouflaged into the background, it's Cowboy. Below these two, walking towards the establishment, is our next NPC, not Guy Fawkes. Take note of the outfit, by the way, because it seems to be very in fashion. How do I know that? Well, take a look at this chap walking away from the establishment, helpfully named Red Vest and Hat. He's wearing the exact same thing, and, by the way, so was Blue Hat Thin. As we follow our second named NPC, Parminder the Vain Commoner, around the bend, we spot Blue Hat Thick sweeping outside the mannequin shop. And yes, he's also wearing the red shirt. In fact, spoiler alert, he and Blue Hat Thin are twins. Hiding behind this bush is Leslie 2, the opinionated commoner. Why the number 2, you ask? Well, because remember...
And every single one is unique.
Continuing on to our final view of childhood, we see 3 NPCs. The first, Blue Gran, the second, Scarecrow, and the last, but certainly not least, Leslie 1, the Cowardly Commoner. Not to be confused with her identical twin sister, Zara, the kind-hearted commoner, whom we've apparently hired to butcher our pigs. One of these women is extremely committed to being the same person. They even chose the same white little flower to decorate their shirt. But let's not forget...
And every single one is unique.
And once again, we're outside the Sangoose. Playground must be playing with me because the area has changed yet again. These signs and foliage simply aren't there. The area also seems to be themed after pigs, so let's refer to the establishment henceforth as the Sand Swine. His freshly appearing NPCs, Luffy with his straw hat, Big Farquaad, who's truly unique and only appears once, Natalie the sensible commoner over in the back, and Little Farquaad near the pig. The remaining NPCs were previously in Briar Hill, and as I flash to the 40-second teaser trailer released after the showcase, the scene continues for a second, adding a few more into the mix. From left to right, we now have Blue Hat Thin, Yellow Gran, recurring NPC 1, Crop Jacket, Luffy, Parminder, Big Farquaad, Cowboy, Natalie, Mr. Greenshirt, Little Farquaad, and Leslie 1. This scene only has Parminder and a child, before we're greeted by our first different view of Bowerstone. I'm going to use the 40-second teaser trailer again for quality purposes, but up next we have Unique, an unidentifiable living populant 1, shortened to ULP from now on. Hatman Thin is in the middle. This noble woman, whose name and personality trait are cut off when we see it, but ending in THER, being British and remembering,
and every single one is unique.
Esther is the only choice. Next to her is Purple Velvet, who's also
Unique.
Followed by Luscious Curls, who truly has amazing hair, and Simon, the snobby commoner. That puts 11 NPCs on screen: ULP1, Average Ale Enjoyer, Blue Hat Thick, Parminder again, Budget Aladdin, Mr. Greenshirt, Hatman Thin, Noble Esther, Purple Velvet, Lush Curls, and Simon. In front of the Bowerstone clock tower as Greenshirt walks away, we meet Hatman Thick wearing exactly the same outfit as Hatman Thin, and next to him we have Pompous Purple. We're going to follow Pompous Purple to a district of higher class. In this area we meet
Unique,
unidentifiable living populant Noble 1, and Lucius, the lazy noble, whom later calls us a imbecile. The scene ends with ULP Noble 1, Lush Curls, Noble Esther, Lucius, and Hatman Thick. Alright, quick change of class to this view of London. Looking to the right, we see 3 new NPCs. First up is Book Reader. Second, Esther the Merchant and
Unique,
humble commoner. She's the one who thinks Ezio is a rich twat. Up top here, we have the Gardener. And then beside Common Esther, it's Simon again. Skipping over combat because that does deserve its own segment, we're back in Briar Hill, where, for the first time, despite the claim that
and every single one is unique.
there are actually 0 fresh NPCs on the screen at all. Appearing once again, the Gardener, Crop Jacket, Blue and Yellow Gran, Cowboy, Red Vest and Hat, and Scarecrow. The next scene follows male variant 1 as he struts his way through the village. This scene comes with a splash of extra irony sauce, seeing as it's the exact moment Mr. Littler talks about the living population being unique, albeit another controlled dev-direct environment with the same set of pre-selected NPCs. The scene starts with the 2 Leslies and Cowboy over here to the left, and at the top of the hill are Yellow Gran and Blue Hat Thin. Walking down the hill is your average ale enjoyer, and to the right of our character is Parminder, continuing her cross-country stroll, with not Guy Fawkes chilling outside what I assume is his place of abode. We get our first look at the pop-up style name tag UI. Notice how there's no halo effect around Parminder here. Will the names just pop up once we're close enough, or do they simply have the halo effect turned off for the direct? I'm wondering how hectic it might get in a situation like this.
Allow us to announce a very wonderful new city.
As the scene continues up the hill, Luffy appears, and then we cut to a close-up of Jasmine ringing her bell. Take extra note, that means she's the village crier of Briar Hill, and don't worry, that'll make even less sense later. Behind her in the dark we've got Yellow Gran, Leslie 1, and Mr. Greenshirt. The next shot switches to a different angle outside the Rose and Thorn, where interestingly, there's a corkscrew and 2 corked corks on the table here, yet all 3 bottles still have their corks uncorked. That's what you call unthought out overcorkage. Anyway, I'm guessing it's the backside of the establishment, as the road in view is certainly not the road our child character was running down earlier. On said road, however, is Aladdin's mother. She's new. Barely visible at all is Budget Aladdin himself, Scarecrow and not Guy Fawkes. Then further down the road is Luffy and Crop Jacket. Front and centre in this scene, taking part in their personal hobbies, are your average ale enjoyer and book reader, both of whom's chair legs are dangerously close to these ditches. But that's not important. Skipping forward to continue our super fun game of NPC spotting, here's our cover character with a new hairstyle, and I have to say, I much prefer this one. It's good to see she's taking hair treatment advice from a disgustingly modded Skyrim. Let's pause and take a look at this scene first. Luffy is here, sitting on a stool, as Little Farquaad trims the hedges. Leslie 2 and Jasmine are just chillin', and Red Vest and Hat can be seen walking away in the background. Press play and Samuel the greedy commoner walks by, twisting and almost breaking his neck just to tell us,
"You're a legend!"
as we get our nameplate reveal for Jasmine the charitable commoner, and remember, village crier of Briar Hill. Continuing on, Leslie 2's nameplate pops up to inform us that she's opinionated. Fun. Can't wait to talk to you, Leslie. Teleport back to Bowerstone for our chicken chaser scene, which features Crop Jacket on the right, and following through we see the gardener, Luffy, and not Guy Fawkes. And to outside the toy shop, as we're about to walk up and initiate our evil plan of forcing Albion's children to pay extortionate prices for Shrek merchandise. This is our first time seeing Natalie the Sensible Commoner's nameplate, and our second time seeing Samuel's. I did not expect them to allow the same nameplate to pop up twice in two separate locations in the same direct. A unique move, to say the least. The 40-second teaser trailer yet again gives us an extended view of our final strut through, where we get Simon, the snobby commoner's nameplate, and he's in front of book reader's brighter-haired twin sister, who's looking after this stall of very bread-shaped apples. Moving through with another flash between videos, here's Esther and Lucius to the left, where between those two, in quite the squeeze, and you'll just have to believe me on this one, Luffy, book reader, Leslie 2, and Budget Aladdin can all be spotted very briefly. Not Guy Fawkes emerges from the back, manning this stall, whilst following Hatman Thin further to the left. We meet Noble Gran, she's
unique,
Aladdin's mother,
unique,
an identifiable living populant too, and Geralt of Riviere. Separate scenes included Rosamund the baker, who we ask on a date, Zara the cheerful butcher, and Oliver the artistic beggar. That totals 43
unique
NPCs, not including our grandmother, Dave, Humphrey, the sheriff, Whisper 2, Lena, or any children, seeing as Ralph said the living population don't play a part in any story quests, and those NPCs are clearly story related. I think Playground needs to hold an educational counting seminar. I tell you what, let's be extra kind and add in the fanboy, hater, and romance option from the Humphrey trailer, bringing our grand total to
more than 1,000 of them.
I suspect a drop in audience of around 70% after that tomfoolery, but you see, it's all part of my master plan to filter out the weak. To you remaining 30%, your interest in the unnecessary is truly amendable, and your reward depends on the initial reason that you came here. For reason 3 viewers, it's a free pass back to the main direct breakdown, and a sizable thanks for watching. For reason 2 viewers, it depends on your time of viewing. If the main breakdown is already out, your reward is the same. If not, stay tuned a tad longer and I'll give you a few teaser images in an attempt to keep the juices flowing. And for reason 1 viewers, it's probably minor brain damage. Welcome again to Murgo's Beard. Just a few final words. If you enjoyed this episode of Ludicrosity and wish to support me in a way that's even more heroic than a like and subscribe, I have a coffee set up where you can treat me to a mystical coffee of insightfulness. Absolutely unnecessary, of course. The standard Murgo asking price of 1 like is more than sufficient. Right then, to those who stayed for a teaser of what's to come, animation breakdowns, combat analysis, a deeper look at spells and extracurricular features, plenty of bad jokes, and a lesson in Albion cartography. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you aren't too disappointed by my slower pace. I just have a certain self-asserting standard that I need to keep to in order to sleep at night. Once again, you are all my heroes, but a special shout out goes to the guild's first legendary coffee hero, Jasper. What more can be said, really?
You're a legend!
Oh, wouldn't now be a great time for a Murgo's Beard channel rewatch, eh? Because just like the Lord of the Rings, truly great content never gets old. Well, that's enough from me. I'll see you in the next one.